Hi, Virgo. Well, first I want to say thank you because last week's video got I think more views than almost any other video I've done for you guys. So thank you so much for your support. Ironically, it was a video that all of you seem to hate. There was so many dislikes. I've never gotten that many dislikes on a video, but gosh, Virgo, it is just, it also performed better. So it's just, I don't know. It's like, I mean, I don't know. Do you love to hate things? I guess. I don't know. But ultimately, it's like, I still appreciate the fact that you showed up and watched the video. So many views it got, and it was phenomenal. So thank you so much. You know, even just for hating something. Kind of a horrible reinforcement of something that you didn't like, which is to make it popular because it did so well. And so at least maybe, you know, it got you guys talking in the comments and hopefully thinking about things. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I'm really grateful for the support through the views. So thank you guys. This week is an interesting week that is, it's making everybody struggle. And I know you're like, give us some good news, but I want you guys to know that when I read the cards, because I had gotten some comments, I'm looking at my dog. I had gotten some comments, and you can tell the background is different because I'm actually visiting my son while I'm filming this video. So I'm in Orlando. I'm not in Orlando. I'm in Daytona Beach, Florida right now. There were comments on the video that concerned me, so I'll address them right now. And simply it was this: why do you hate Virgos so much? I'm like, where is this even coming from? I don't even know, because, you know, that's just not the case at all. I like in the slightest. So, I read the cards bluntly, blatantly, and I speak very bluntly, and I articulate very clearly. I don't, you know, mince words at all. I'm just not that kind of human. So whether it's I'm laughing with you or I'm crying with you, I am being very, very blunt with you. And it's interesting because I have so many Virgo friends. In fact, when I was young, that's all I seemed to attract into my life. And when I learned that my North Node was in Virgo about 5 years ago, it made sense that I must be the type of human that wants to learn and wants to be challenged. And effectually, I was calling in people in my life who were going to teach me the skills that I needed to learn to be the best of myself. And they were all Virgos, all of them. So I love you guys. And I've always been very attracted to Virgos. So it was definitely not hate. It was just being blunt. And I thought it was an interesting juxtaposition. I don't know if it's just YouTube or, you know, the kind of audience that I get on YouTube, but ultimately it was like Virgos are always the most blunt people I know. Like as soon as if I need advice or if I've done something, they are critical and very, very straightforward and articulate as to what I need to change and why I did something wrong. So it didn't make any sense to me why being just as articulate back was so difficult for the Virgo audience. And then it hit me. This is a very emotional time. And the cards this week really back that up. And I have a best friend who I've had for, I'm 42. I don't mind sharing my age with you guys. I'm 42 years old. I've had her, I've known Alicia for the majority of those 42 years. And, you know, we met when we were 6 years old. So basically, somebody I've been friends with for 36 years of my life. Really, really good friends, like like everything, gone through everything together. So I remember a time when she was going through the worst possible time in her life. And we were in high school. We were in our senior year of high school. And I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this story. She had come in to tell us one of her family members, a younger sibling, was gone ill with cancer. And I knew her my whole life too, because I'd known my friend for so long. She was three. The younger sibling was 3 when I had met my friend, and always the annoying little sibling that wouldn't get out of our hair. And then when she was diagnosed with cancer when she was around 11 years old, I think, it really shook up the family, which is a very closely interwoven family. Happy family, happy mom, happy dad, stay-at-home mom, classic traditional kind of nuclear family, and trips to Disney World, and all of those fun things that you do. And then all of a sudden this cancer diagnosis kind of blew them out of the water. And but they did the best. They really did. They were strong, and they were they were optimistic. And she went into remission. And I remember having a beautiful photo from my mother at that point, from our freshman year of college, maybe our sophomore year of college. My father had died when I was 13, and my mother got remarried when I was 15. So of course she was there with her family. We had this really great picture. Her siblings' hair had actually grown back in, because during chemo you lose your hair, but that you could see full hair and stuff. So they were in remission. So they were very optimistic. And then when we were 17 years old, which is 2 years after the photo was taken, she comes in, and it was close to Christmas time. And basically, was it our senior year or our junior year? It might have been our junior year, because the next year her younger sibling we were supposed to be seniors, and they were supposed to be freshmen, right? They were coming in. So we were kind of like psyched for that, because we were like going to be like big sisters and stuff to the incoming freshmen. But this year before, she had come in to us during lunchtime. It was close to Christmas time, so it was November or early December. And she'd said, she was talking about her sibling, and she was like, they got a fever. They're, just going through a winter cold, but it was going to be, okay. And I learned a lot about Virgos in that moment that I never really forgot, because I saw two things happening. Remember, I knew her since I was 6 years old, so I knew her very well. First of all, personally, I knew her very well. And secondly, I've always been empathic. I'm a triple Cancer, actually quadruple Cancer, and I just have a lot of I just feel people, right? And I was only 16, 17 around that time, so I'm not saying that everything was honed very well at that point in my life, but I saw two things very clearly, and it wasn't just me that saw it, because it was a group of friends. We all sat together. We were always very loving toward each other. We always supported each other. I have the best friends. We're all still friends. And we all started looking to each other left and right, because she was telling this story of, we were going to go here, but, her sibling got a cold, and so they had to stay in, and instead, and she kind of like threw it in this random place in the conversation, like it was nothing. And we were all looking back and forth at each other as she was telling us this. And it was at that point that I realized something really, really interesting about Virgos. Number one, the depth of their intuition was equal to the depth of their automatic, almost self-defensive ability to rationalize something that intuitively made them uncomfortable. Because we all knew, as soon as she acknowledged that her sibling had gotten a cold again, we all knew that on some level she knew the cancer was back. But she was not saying it, and she was not looking at it, and she was not talking about it. She was going to rationalize it and somehow make it, and this is brilliant, the brilliance of a Virgo can make anything make sense, even things that don't. And as we grew, I noticed all my Virgo friends. It was one of the main reasons why they could stay in bad relationships so long, because they could rationalize even things that weren't working, because they're automatic. And this is something that is admirable about you, but always our best traits are also like the yang to the yin of our worst traits, right? So they could always find a way to make something work, figure out how to just make it work. But ultimately, that even went into when things clearly weren't working, and especially when they had this emotional reaction to it and they wanted to avoid feeling the discomfort of that emotion, they would be even more almost self-defensive, right? Self-defensive, hard driven to rationalize it and figure out a way to make it work. And unfortunately, a year later, her sister would pass from this horrible cancer that did not have a cure, before she ever got to be a freshman in high school. And there was, I think, just this time in her life that I'm not sure that she's ever really completely dealt with. Though she has grown a lot from it. God, I hope that she doesn't get pissed that I'm telling her story. I don't even know if she watches my videos, but I know she retweets them for me though, so thank you so much. But ultimately, when I see this card, these cards in front of me, I just remember that story, and I remember last week's video, and I know this week's video, and so I recognize and realize that there is so much emotion happening now, especially for Virgos. Why? Because Mercury is in retrograde. Mercury, as you know, Virgos, is your ruling energy, planetary energy, vibrational energy. And it is now in Scorpio. It's been in Scorpio for, I think, 2-3 weeks in retrograde. Now, Scorpio in retrograde is very, very difficult for those of us who would rather rationalize our emotions than feel them. Because ultimately what it does is it will dig up the most deep, hurtful, sad, scary, emotional experiences. Because remember, Scorpio is a water sign. Emotional experiences. And it will do so to try to teach us something from them. And this has been, ask anybody, ask any astrologer, go ahead. This has been a fucked up time for everybody. Very emotional, very difficult. Everybody's being challenged in the absolute worst way. And what this reading really does is show me the connection between last week, which was struck by that Libra new moon, and it was ironically one of the most wicked new moons that could have ever happened, because it really did challenge us in the worst ways, striking our Achilles heels. And the Achilles heel for you guys is 100% those emotions or those things that you know. I always say this, Virgos are one of the most intuitive signs, but they usually, very unlike water signs who will just kind of immerse themselves in their emotions and gush and annoy everybody for how emotional they get, Virgos will immediately go to rationalizing that emotion and finding a way to not feel it or not experience it, especially if it's making them uncomfortable, because they want to keep things healthy. That's Virgo energy. Keep it healthy, keep it cultivated, keep it on the up and up, keep it functioning, keep it working, keep it making sense. And that's why it can really crush you guys so bad to have these emotions that are relentless and just won't let you go and insist upon defying any aspect of your rationale or ability to make them better. Because the only way to really make them better is to hurt, to suffer, to feel, maybe even like or enjoy. You know what I'm saying? there is just this, but it usually is only something traumatic when this is happening, because it's like like I said, it's like an automatic response that I see you, I know. I have my little puppies here. An automatic response to just defend yourself so that you can continue to function. Ultimately, there's something coming up there, and it may not have been actual bad news. It's just a reemergence of all of those things that you have not been able to settle on, deal with, or understand, which is especially impossible, because ultimately it's like, but why did this have to happen? I need an explanation, an answer. And the truth is, and one of the hardest things I think for Virgos to accept, is sometimes things just don't make sense. They just don't. Because you're hardwired to make things make sense. It's why you make the absolute best managers. It's why you're, I wouldn't say, Virgos and hard work is interesting. Virgos work smart. They work smart. That's where their efficiency is taking any kind of work and doing it the smart way. So it's brilliant. You're brilliant. You're amazing at logistics and operations and management. And that's why you're amazing at music, because essentially you take the ephemeral and you make it make sense through the musical, which is very mathematical and metered and measured. And it's just your sweet spot of connectivity through this world. And I'm, of course, not all Virgos are musical, but I don't know many Virgos who are not at least music fans. They are musical to a certain degree, all of them. But ultimately, I'm running on and on and on. I just wanted to share this with you because these cards really remind you. This reminded me of this moment, and co-joined with the moment from last week, which was very difficult. And so if you have been experiencing these aspects of yourself, these feelings that you very well know where they're coming from, but you're trying so hard to still rationalize them, what I want you to know is that you are not alone. Everybody has been getting their Achilles heel plucked. Everybody has been experiencing these. They're getting tested in all different ways, but this is where it's testing you. Will you experience it? And will you allow yourself a balance of just to feel your emotions? Because these are emotions rising up from the depths, to honor them and actually restore balance, because we're in Libra season. Actually restore balance to your whole self and your whole life by allowing those emotions to come up that you have been really suppressing for so long through rationalization. And interestingly enough, it's almost like you're convincing yourself, no, I'm dealing with these emotions by thinking through them, by trying to practically address them. But that's not it, is it? That's not it. It's almost like it's actually a repression. And this is those emotions pouring out and you feeling so much. And if you have been excessively, or in your eyes, excessively emotional lately, it is because this cosmos is lined up to purge that all out of you. It's got to be left behind somehow, some way. Now, no, I'm sorry, honey. She literally is trying to get my attention by falling to sleep, like literally just lay there, intentionally laying on my cards. Now, ultimately, there is a sense of good news here, because why are you feeling it? Why do you need to feel it? Why? Because you've been inspired by somebody else. This flame, this inspiration that's come into your life, somebody that really inspires you to do and create or be open and open yourself. There you go. 100%. It's your way to release your freedom, also your creativity. So, and I've been getting this a long time, for a while for you guys, that there's been some writing going on or composition going on or a push to creativity. And if you have not started that creative opus, if you will, whatever it is, whether it's a painting or a new business or a book or whatever your this outlet for your emotions is, this was the time to push you to do it, to make you feel so much that ultimately there's no other place for you to go but into your intuition and your emotions and trusting your expression. And basically, instead of trying to rationalize something, instead do what musicians do, which is to just put those feelings into a tangible form, which would be through storytelling, because you guys are so good with words, or some sort of creative or physical expression. This is the time that you're being pushed and said, you got it. This is it. We want you to do this. This is part of your process. You've never really understood why all of a sudden what was so beautiful and what was so wonderful came to an end. You've never really understood it, that somebody had to go away, maybe suddenly, maybe too soon, before it was their time, that somebody had to leave. And ultimately, it's almost like this push to give it an answer. You know, if you've never gotten that answer, and it may not have been somebody in your, like, it doesn't have to be a close personal story to you. It could have been somebody that inspired you in your life, that all of a sudden something happened to them and you never understood why that would happen to somebody, or why it affected you emotionally so much because you didn't even know the person. You know, that could be your situation. Ultimately, it's not something that you have to understand. It's actually something that you just have to understand your emotions and let yourself feel the emotions and take those emotions and use them as creative inspiration to give yourself the answer through your creative work. So you now get to essentially heal yourself by giving an answer, by coming to a conclusion, by being inspired. Now, this is help from your friends, 100%. All of this is, you will be helped by your friends. You will be encouraged by your friends. You will get advice that you didn't expect to get. They will rally around you to help you. And basically help to make things better. Being surrounded by love, being cared for, knowing that there's love still around you. And that, in other words, it's almost like forming and I see a lot of cups here, so maybe there's a lot of emotions or a lot of water signs around you. You know, definitely people who are not afraid of you being afraid. People who are not afraid when you're emotional. People who are okay with people who are being a mess with them emotionally right now. Because not everybody has to be together all the fucking time. And, you know, you will be supported. And this is a sense of you acknowledging that you know that you need to sort of lose yourself in these emotions right now to create an answer for yourself. To basically take those things that have hurt you so bad and say, I'm never going to get a why from the real world, but I'm going to use my creative world and give it a why. And in doing this, create something that I think will be quite brilliant. I'm going to go into the main reading. I know it's been so long, but thank you for allowing me to share that with you. Giving me the time to kind of share that with you. This is the main reading coming up now. I mean, sometimes the main reading is not as even, I don't know. It's all important, but not as much comes out. You know, I guess this is the main reading. The main reading is the main reading. Virgo, please, Virgo. Virgo, please, Virgo. Virgo. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now that this is why it's coming out, because you are set to make a windfall of success and public recognition. The Star card and the Sun card coming out by confronting your emotions. Also a sense of a big breakthrough coming. Maybe especially if you know a Pisces, this is Aquarius energy, this is Leo energy, all of a sudden a huge breakthrough coming. good news coming, happy news coming, almost the other side of all the hurt and suffering. But it's almost like you had to feel it to energetically break through in order to, like I said, and that's where a lot of you could be using this creative process, or ultimately just confronting the emotions that you might not have been really wanting to feel. Ultimately, that's the breakthrough that helps you basically set beautiful stuff up for the future. This is a recognition or realization that something is becoming successful that you've had to wait a long time for, or that you've put a lot of energy or effort into. So that's some good news, man. Now this is giving over to your emotions. Giving over, right? Surrender now. Just fly into it. Like with all the courage you have, allow yourself to go right into the chaos, which you hate. I understand that. That's Sagittarius energy. You just go right into the chaos, and then ultimately, what do? You're going into the chaos to feel everything and to release it and let it go. And it's growing up. It seems chaotic, it seems crazy, but it's almost like transcending the chaos and things starting to improve once you let yourself do what you thought was crazy to do, which is fly right into the sun. But that was what you needed to do to sort of burn off everything that you were feeling. Just let the passion flare out, be out of control, and that's where you gain your freedom. Now, there's a lot of fire energy here too. So what is fire? Fire is creativity. Fire is the flame of creation. Fire is doing, energy, invention, just that push of creativity that you could be feeling. Yeah. Dream the world into being. This is Scorpionic energy. We're in the middle. We've just entered Scorpio season, but honestly, you and your energy ruled by Mercury, literally you guys have been in Scorpio for the past 3 weeks, and you've been in retrograde. So you've been moving real slow and super PI, investigating or digging up and learning from all those things from the past. Your past, you can see the skeleton in the background, the skull, is going to inform a very, very bright future. You know, transforming like from the ashes and the muck. This is almost like lily pad energy, where it's like through this gross, murky, swampy nastiness grows this beautiful flower that sits on top and learns how to float on top of it. So that's exactly what's happening right now in your life, finding a way to use that energy that maybe has been really kind of like hurting you for a long time, finding a way to use it to bring a gentle touch, which is just loving yourself, being compassionate. But this is also could be somebody young, somebody new. This could also be new love, but this is Virgo energy. It is starting out fresh, a new beginning, basically almost like rejuvenating or regenerating yourself, to give yourself a second chance, the second chance that you deserve, having learned from the past. This is some serious Taurus energy, and of course Taurus has been being visited by Uranus for a long time, and Taurus was majorly impacted by this energy. But it's almost like learning how to letting your past give you your future, learning from it, accepting it, incorporating it, and then allowing it to somehow help you out and inform your bright future, or how the future can be bright, by actually finally being able to look at those things in your life that you had your emotional life, not the pragmatic life, but your emotional life that otherwise had been too difficult. But ultimately, you weren't given a choice, which is probably why you felt so out of control recently, just completely and totally not. Just like, I know you guys don't like to feel out of control of things either, but it was like you weren't really out of control. This was just a part of the process, and sometimes we have to take our hands off the wheel and let the universe steer, and that can be very, very uncomfortable. But it's through the discomfort that you were able to finally be like, oh. Like the universe giving you a little, get by with a little help from your friends. It's like you didn't want to give up control of the wheel, but it was exactly what you needed to do to purge what you needed to purge. And ultimately, you know, maybe those friends who you felt were attacking you or judging you too harshly or doing stupid fucking things, you couldn't even believe it because, you know, you're casting your frustrations onto them. Ultimately, it was the best thing that could have happened because it made you reach deep down inside of yourself. And there's so much beautiful potential to use this energy to inform a triumph in the future, which is why I think the universe is presenting it to you right now, because you're ultimately clicking in and setting up this beautiful new world kind of right now by how you place this energy. If you want to, please do join me for the extended reading where I will go into depth and get out details regarding this reading. I will articulate everything through tarot. And that link is below in the description box. So I'll see you guys over there. You can either go there now, or please stay for the angel messages, because I think that these are some of the best messages of the reading. So let's get into the angel messages for Virgo. Yeah. Interesting. We have the two that flipped out first. We have 4 cards. Okay. Heart Song is the first one that came out. What is your heart saying? Stop and listen. Your truth lies within the empty spaces between your thoughts. That's your feelings. Your truth shines through from your soul. Your truth is that which is eternal and unchanging. Your truth is love. And then I have flip out anxiety. We surround you with the healing light of amethyst. Take a deep breath and breathe in this beautiful violet light. Feel your anxiety melting away. There is nothing to fear. There is only love. Both ends up in love. Middle path. Embrace both sides. Just like with music. That's it. The middle path is the road to a balanced, more peaceful life. Balance. And then last is vision. A positive outcome requires a positive vision. Visualize everyone in your present situation surrounded by light and love. Make sure to include yourself also. This is an actual visualization exercise. Your love has the power to influence and transform current events. In other words, you can create in your world a world where you never lost that person, or a world where all of a sudden things make sense. You know, you can use your vision and this world that you create to help you heal yourself. With that, please do join me for tarot. The link is below. I'll see you guys in the extended. Bye.